I got spoiled by Hulu so they can make a Cheers joke? That's kind of disappointing, which honestly, my initial thought, my first reaction after the episode ended was, well, that was disappointing. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, no, that was dumb. And I do have reasons for why I thought it was disappointing, and it was mainly because I got the episode spoiled. I got the fact that they are all coming back alive spoiled, or at least Eleanor so far. Like, I got the fact that they have a second chance spoiled for me, and that was like the big thing in this episode. I wouldn't have minded getting spoiled that Chidi kissed Eleanor, 'cause, oh, that's the big thing that happens in this episode. Nope, just kidding, haha. You're alive now, go have fun in the human world, back with all those humans. One thing that I did not like at the very beginning of the episode was when Janet was telling Jason how much she loved him, and that, oh, I'm sorry, saying it was complicated and my feelings were weird, it was just an excuse to not say anything to you. And then it goes to Chidi, and he's like, oh, just like telling Eleanor that my brain felt like a fork in the garbage disposal, because then that just kind of makes that scene retroactively feel worse, right? Like, it was a very good description of how he felt and, like, not being able to make decisions, and now it's like, was that fake? Did he fake that, at least that part of the conversation, just so he could get out of telling Eleanor that he loved her? Because I feel like he would have told her anyway. It's like, I love you, but I don't know all these repercussions for this, for loving you. It's all weird and I don't get it. Because that would feel like the Chidi thing to do, as opposed to, well, time to lie about it. Or at least maybe trying to convince himself and lying to himself that that's a valid excuse, which it is. But, like, honestly, I don't really have a whole lot to say about this episode. Like, yes, it's the season finale! But unlike last year's season finale, which recontextualizes the entire season, and up to this point, the show, this one doesn't really do that. It's just the next step. So there's not a whole lot to say in regards of reflecting, but I do have an idea that this is either a simulation or Michael's test for the judge. My idea for this being a simulation is because, could they bring people back to life? And if so, why not just bring people back to life indefinitely? Because you can, you know, like, just make a second Earth or whatever for everyone who dies, and it's not really a good or bad place, it's just, you died, here you go again. Or, I don't know why, just, I feel like them being able to bring people back to life is just a little overpowered. But also because Michael just kind of started working at the bar, and I get that they really wanted to do a Cheers reference, but, like, does nobody else at the bar care? Did nobody that was working there care? Did he actually spend time, like, trying to get the job? I understand they wanted to be, like, a revelation when he turned around and it was like, oh my goodness, it's Ted Danson, wasn't he in that Cheers show? That's hilarious. But when you put that in the thumbnail of your VIDEOOOO, it really takes away a lot of the punch of a majority of the episode. I just felt like, oh, hello, I'm here, hello, it's me, Michael, didn't really have to work to get here, but I'm just here, just, you know, help get you on the right path. My theory, or my proof for it being Michael's test, is Jen was like, oh, let's do it, let's just go, let's just try it out and see how it goes, it'll be fun. And also, I do think that her saying, yeah, but I can change my mind at any point, that will come into play, because otherwise I don't think she would have said it. Yeah, it's a line, they chose to have it in there, it will come into play at some point. Also, another thing that I think will come into play at some point, a line that they put in there purposefully, was Jason, he was like, oh, I call shotgun, I don't know what they're talking about, but I call it shotgun. I feel like that's foreshadowing something that he does with a shotgun. So, yeah, that's my Jason theory. He does something with a shotgun. Maybe not necessarily a shotgun. Maybe it's actually just a car shotgun. But he's been talking about shotguns a lot this season. Like, what with a balloon and this. It's like, I feel like that will have to come into play at some point. Maybe not even in the biggest way possible, but like how Blake Bortles, Derek Bortles, like, they brought it back to some plot-related thing. It might not be the biggest revelation ever, but shotguns has something to do with something, and I'm calling that right now. But when I said that this episode, I feel like it was kind of disappointing. I don't think that anymore, but that was an honest reaction and I was going to stick to it. But I have evolved on from that thinking process. It's just, when you're like me, and when you watch things, emotion is what you get out of it. When you get something spoiled, that takes away a lot of the emotional punch, and it kind of replaces it with negative stuff, because you're like, oh, this could have been better if I wasn't spoiled. And it kind of, not necessarily spoils the experience, because I don't want to say that word, because people have it so connected with leaking information that's in the episode, but the whole point of the word is that it spoils it. It makes it not as good. So spoilers can be anything for any type of person. So maybe a character reminds someone of someone that they don't like. That can spoil an episode. It's not just necessarily, oh, they were all dead the whole time. Wow, you spoiled the episode for me. Oh my goodness. Also, Chidi was speaking English. Like in the first episode, he's like, oh, I'm speaking French, which in their defense could just be French is the language he's most comfortable with. And so he was just speaking French while he was in the good place. Or it can be a hint that maybe this is a simulation or Michael's test of some sort. I don't know. I feel like if it was actually, they were actually brought back to life, Michael wouldn't have been allowed to interfere, because that would have like, you can't do that, you cheated, you're all out. And maybe this is even what it's building to. It's like, uh-oh, you cheated, you didn't pass the test, that was the deal or whatever. So there's that portion of the episode, and then there's the ending, where Eleanor goes somewhere else. She goes somewhere else. That's the episode title, so I was freaking out about it. Speaking of titles, when Michael told Eleanor, this is what we owe to each other, I was freaking out, because it was like, oh my goodness. He said the name of the book that they were talking about. That was like the note to Eleanor. She went and found Chidi after Michael told her that. Which means that the note from the end of season 1 is relevant again. Maybe not necessarily relevant again, but it means more now, because it says what we owe to each other, Eleanor, find Chidi, which ended up being the last part of this episode. So the last part of season 1 and season 2 parallels each other in that way. And the more I'm talking about the episode, the more I'm really enjoying it. It's just getting it spoiled really, it hit me, especially because I haven't gotten anything in this show spoiled before. The closest thing I got to a spoiler was seeing a screenshot of Tahani like in the door, and it says like attempt 218, and then like the caption was, this is your soulmate Tahani, and I got that spoiled for me only because I wasn't able to watch the episode. And when I wake up immediately, I forget things, and so like I woke up, didn't actually process anything, like got on my phone, and that was the first thing I clicked on, and so that was the biggest spoiler I got, until that stupid image of Michael in a bar. I was really hopeful all day. That was the first thing I saw this morning, because I went to check Hulu if they had the episode, and so I was able to think about that for a long time. Maybe it wouldn't be as bad if I didn't get that image just ingrained in my brain thinking about it all day. But I did, and it did. But that's what initial reactions are for. I get to talk about my first immediate thought, and not necessarily an edited retrospective of an episode, which I'm going to be doing over the whole season soon-ish, by the way, with one of my friends. We're going to be discussing the episodes and kind of all of them together and how they fit. So, there's that. I can't remember what I was going to say, but I had a really good point about Sean. Something. I can't remember what it was, though. I guess if I remember it, I'll add it to the Good Place Season 2 discussion. Either way, I can't wait for Season 3, and I'm really excited. And Brian basically got this episode right on the money, except instead of Eleanor convincing them to be brought back to life, it was Michael. So, yeah, he got it right on the money. I basically got Rhonda, Diana, Jake, and Trent right on the money. I guess you can say we're extremely smart. And also, the actress for Tahani, Jamila, said a few weeks ago that nobody has predicted what's going to happen in Season 3. So, he did. Brian did. My good old friend Brian Kosh. He made this video, it's in the description because YouTube doesn't do annotations anymore, I don't think. But he made that great video about The Good Place as a whole, back closer to when Season 2 started, so check that out, because he is so smart and I love him so much. And back in Season 1, Episode 1, when the first episode aired, I was bored, and I was talking to him, and I was like, any shows this season that look good that just started up? And he's like, well, The Good Place has potential, and potential it has. I'm really excited. This episode. This episode. I was even thinking earlier, like, oh, we haven't gotten a lot of flashbacks recently. Like, I kind of missed the flashbacks, and now it's like, are we living in an entire flashback? Is it like a Christmas Carol type thing where they're like being given like, oh, here's what will happen, and then they wake up and they're like, I gotta help everyone, I gotta go do it now. I don't know, I don't feel like they were actually brought back to life. That's my thing. They could, I'm sure the writers will make it work, but I can't. I don't think so. Also, we didn't see a whole lot of Tahani or Jason this episode, and that kind of makes me sad. Or also Janet, but Janet like had a moment to shine. And I guess Tahani and Jason did too, because Tahani had that scene with Eleanor at the beginning, which was gay. I ship Tahani and Eleanor, but also I ship Eleanor and Chidi. I just want every character to be happy, but also I want the show to go on forever. But also I want it to be really, really insanely good for forever. So, yeah. Can they do that? Can they, like, defy the laws of TV and just make a show that's consistently great for its entire run and it lasts for many, many years? And by many years, I mean, like, 10 plus seasons? Is there a show that's gone on for 10 plus seasons which has been consistently extremely good? And, like, it can be good, but there's that, you know, season 7, you know, that one's not a good one. But I want The Good Place to just make a deal with the devil and be good. That's what I want. Anyway, Good Place season 2 is over, which means that my initial thoughts, Good Place videos are over, and I don't want that to happen. Are there any other shows that you Good Place fans are constantly watching that I could watch and fill this hole in my heart? I'm gonna be watching Professor Layton, that anime, when that starts up in April, because I love that series, and I'm gonna probably do videos for that. I mean, the fan bases don't really cross over much. They're kind of two completely different things, but that's just me. You know, I'm gonna talk about that. I love Good Place and other things, and I had a lot of fun making these videos. Like the Ruby ones, I had to drop for a little while because, or I guess I still did, because it just became a chore. But The Good Place, I was always really excited to discuss the episode. So, yeah. Anyway. I've rambled on long enough. I've stopped talking about The Good Place entirely. The Good Place, really insanely good. Kind of makes me want to watch Cheers. I watched the first few episodes. I didn't even know Ted Danson was in Cheers until recently when I looked up something from Ted Danson and it was like, oh yeah, he's in Cheers. And I was like, whoa, that's way... what? But yeah, he's Michael to me and will always be Michael to me. Also, Eleanor said Frozen in this episode and I was like, ha ha ha. Oh, Christian Bell. No, it's funny because she plays Anna in Frozen. Yeah, also, yeah, that was... yeah. The Good Place, my favorite show, and it's still my favorite show because that finale was good. Okay, yeah. On my, like, literally after I finished it, I was like, okay, Derek and Somewhere Else are the 2 worst episodes of the show, and after watch... Somewhere Else has skyrocketed. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye. Have a wonderful life in between seasons 2 and 3 of The Good Place. Also, whoa. Pause. They rebooted the characters again at the end of a season. So, yeah. I don't think that they're going to stay rebooted this time because I do think that it's just a test. And that, like, as soon as they pass... oh, we're alive again, and my first thought was, okay, but then if they were giving all their memories back, wouldn't that mean that they just did it for the reward? But then one of my friends was like, well, I mean, if they did it all good before they knew about the reward, then morally it should be fine, so I'll just, that's good enough for me. I mean, there's no really flaws with that, I don't believe. So, yeah, this time for real, I'm gonna stop this video, but if there are other Good Place things that I think about, I really want to do Good Place stuff regularly, so maybe I'll do Good Place things over the summer. Maybe I'll do it next time on Good Place, a Season 3 edition. Yeah, anyway, see you guys in September. Goodbye. See you guys, gals, and non-binary pals in September. September 2018. What would they call Earth? The try again place? The crappy place? I don't know. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye. Eleanor is in Sydney. Eleanor's in Sydney seeing Chidi. What? She's gonna be a student again. What? Yeah, again. I love The Good Place. I'm glad that the Good Place is so good. I love it so much. How do they do it? How do they? They must have already signed their souls over to a double or something. If they can consistently make this show as good as it is consistently. So yeah, great show, amazing show. I would recommend it to all my friends, which I have been doing. And like a few of my friends are like, I'll add it to my queue on Netflix. And I'm like, haha, I know what that means because I say it all the time. That's just saying I'll get around to it to your pal. So they're like, haha, nice, I did it. And while that person's like, okay, time to put that in the back burner for the next 8 years of my life. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking now because this is just rambling and turning into a non-Good Place vlog. Goodbye, my guys, gals, non-binary pals. I love you oh so much. You are all super duper valid. Bye.